Let's get straight into the heart of the action. Joining me on India First is Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. Ghanshyam Tiwari represents the Samajwadi Party. Salman Nizami is a member of the Congress Party. Also with me is India Today's National Affairs editor Rahul Srivastav. Ghanshyam Tiwari, BJP alleges tickets are being given by the Samajwadi Party to the likes of Nahid Hasan, BJP says responsible for the Hindu exodus from Kairana, and to Adil Chaudhry, who, according to this video released by Amit Malviya, is seen threatening Hindus in that area in case Samajwadi Party comes to power.
Good evening, Gaurav, to you, the viewers and the fellow co-panelists, and let me wish the entire country on the eve of Republic Day that our collective efforts make our nation stronger, prosperous, harmonious. As far as BJP is concerned, BJP used today as a smokescreen the IT cell of BJP, infamous for putting out through tech fog systems, as widely reported, over 100,000 abuses to women journalists, just 10 women journalists, is infamous for all kinds of doctored videos, hate videos, fake news, and fake news. As far as the smokescreen that they needed for today was that up.bjp.org today reports, the BJP by its own admission, that 40% of candidates so far announced by BJP have criminal charges. The man you showed in the frame, Keshav Prasad Maurya, is ably listed, highlighted in these 40%.
And that justifies what Adil Chaudhry said, sir?
Allow me to complete.
That justifies what Adil Chaudhry said, because I put a very specific question to you, sir.
I'm answering.
I asked you a very specific question on Adil Chaudhry and whether that video, he is threatening Hindus in case Samajwadi Party comes to power.
Allow me to respond. When it comes to crime, facts are better than arguments. And the fact is, if you look at 2017 filing by Keshav Prasad Maurya versus Nahid Hasan, you mentioned Nahid Hasan. Do you know how many charges were there on Keshav Prasad Maurya? Take 5 ministers as per ADR report that have criminal charges in the current cabinet. Allow me to complete. Tell me, any of them have lesser charges than Nahid Hasan? They have more charges than Nahid Hasan.
Sir, so that actually sounds like a dialogue of Diwar picture where Amitabh Bachchan says, "Jao pehle uska sign kara ke lao, uska sign kara ke lao, uska sign kara ke lao." Do two wrongs make a right, sir? My question to you was very specific.
I am putting out facts. You mentioned.
Sir, would you like to answer on Adil? Would you like to answer on Meerut candidate Adil, who's caught on camera threatening Hindus as the BJP claims? You want to respond to that specifically? Is my question.
Amit Malviya and people like him who hide behind tech fog to put out doctor videos, abuse women journalists, 100,000 abuses. You and I and your viewers will not trust them for doctor videos and polarized narratives.
Fair enough. Charu Pragya, respond. The Samajwadi Party accuses the BJP of cut, paste, spliced, doctored videos and a tech fog that they claim you're creating with this alleged anti-Hindu rant of Adil Chaudhry.
Let's start with all the names. Adil Chaudhry, Nahid Hasan, Mukhtar Ansari, Azam Khan, Muharram Ali. Samajwadi Party candidates are going to be contesting these elections from inside the jail. How many more tickets are you going to give to people who will be behind bars and contesting elections? And I just don't want to talk about Adil Chaudhry today, whose video has surfaced. Why aren't you talking about what the supporters of Nahid Hasan are saying today? What they are saying is, अरे बाजू वाले जो जाट रहते हैं, हम मुसलमान उनसे ज्यादा हैं, अगर उन्होंने हमें सपोर्ट नहीं किया तो भूसा भर देंगे उनके अंदर. तो जिस उत्तर प्रदेश को,
my question to you was very specific. Samajwadi Party claims that it's a doctored video, cut and spliced job, and it's a tech fog being created by the BJP.
So first of all, Samajwadi cannot be the judge and jury of everything that goes against them. Let that be up to the experts to decide. And did you hear the statement of Adil Chaudhry? Did he sound apologetic? He in fact sounded very vague. He sounded caught out. Just look at that statement again. You can play it out again, please, Gaurav. But you know, the fact is we have worked very hard to make Uttar Pradesh danga free. We will not allow Samajwadi gundas to take over the good governance of Uttar Pradesh. We are not going to allow these writers who've got serious cases against them, including NSA cases, who've actually had special courts declare them as fugitives sitting inside jail today, contesting elections and misleading the people and dividing everything on the name of communal lines.
Okay.
Now, let me just do a little quick recap, Gaurav. I just need 20 seconds more. It started in Ghaziabad. You remember that beard cutting case? They started their communal play from there. After that, into the political dialogue was introduced Pakistan and Jinnah. It's Jai Jinnah, Jai Pakistan for Akhilesh Yadav ji and his supporters. Today, they are giving tickets to everybody who is either a part of the exodus of Hindus that happened from Kairana or who is an established righteous
Rahul Srivastav,
everything that India stands for.
Rahul Srivastav, the police say they are examining this, but as of now, is Western UP, and since you've traveled all across this belt very, very extensively, is this a very close battle? The fact that Samajwadi Party gives a ticket to Nahid Hasan, the fact that BJP makes Nahid Hasan getting a ticket, the issue.
Gaurav, in the last 3 elections, what the BJP managed to do, that due to the polarization driven by the Muzaffarnagar 2013 riots, and also consolidating the several MBC and OBC votes in the region, the BJP created a Hindu monolith in which it virtually swept the entire Western UP area. And in that, critical element was that the minority vote, Muslim vote, which is at times one of the largest segments in voting segments, was virtually reduced to redundance. And this time around, the battle is opened because of farm protests and also the Jats feeling that they are losing their Chaudrahat in the Western UP region. They are trying to assert themselves. In that scenario, what finds that some bit of that polarization of 2013 seems to have faded down. And that's why each seat counts now, Gaurav. In that scenario, attempts are being made to keep the polarization between Samajwadi Party and the BJP. In that, Nahid Hasan fits in that such polarizing tales fit in. The key fact is that this time around, political parties know that no strong undercurrents are playing. And that is why you see that despite credentials of people, whatever kind they have, people are being fielded. And Samajwadi Party is also turning the heat on the BJP along with its...
And in all of this, Salman Nizami, where is the Congress? It's a big setback for the Congress. RP and Singh has joined the BJP. 2 others have joined with him. Is that a major cause for concern for the Congress, that your Gen Next leadership is leading you from Jyotiraditya Scindia to Jitin Prasad, from Aditi Singh now to RP and Singh?
Well, leaders come and go, but those who are loyal and who believe in secular ideology will stick to their ideologies. But the topic was on actually the criminal cases in Uttar Pradesh. Well, those I will talk about that those who live in glass houses should not throw stones on others. BJP gives tickets to criminals on a regular basis.
And yet RPN Singh joins the BJP and says law and order has improved the best under Yogi Adityanath, sir. What does that indicate?
We have better leaders than RPN Singh. We have better leaders than RPN Singh and Sadhvi Pragya Thakur.
So now RPN Singh is in the same category as Sadhvi Pragya Singh Thakur for the Congress.
No, even we are talking about the criminal cases in UP. Even Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is facing more than 20,000 cases, and 20 UP ministers are of Yogi government are still facing criminal cases. So how can you give a clean administration in Uttar Pradesh?
You haven't thought of asking that to RPN Singh when he quit your party and joined the BJP. But Charu Pragya, Congress claims you're taking cowards and have-beens who don't have the stomach for a long sustained fight against the BJP. Charu Pragya, can you hear me?
Yeah, Gaurav, sorry, my connection was weak for a moment there. Okay, first of all, I just want to respond to Rahul. With all due respect, it was not BJP that introduced communalism in these elections, and I would appreciate you being fair on national television. It was actually Samajwadi Party. They started from Ghaziabad, as I recapped, and even introducing Jinnah, Pakistan, etc., giving tickets to actual righteous. It's all done by Samajwadi Party. We are reacting to this. We are not the perpetrators of this. So I will appreciate you being honest. As for Congress, this is a party where their main leaders are out on bail. This is also a party which is non-existent on ground, not just in Uttar Pradesh, but the country over. This is also a party which does not know how to keep its flock together. This is also a party which has forgotten the basic decency in a democracy, that somebody is wonderful and idolized as long as they remain in their party, and you can abuse them and call them all sorts of names once they decide that they are not happy where they are and they want to change their political
But
party.
wasn't the same done with Swami Prasad Maurya? The moment he quit the BJP, he was called a has-been, or someone who's facing criminal charges, or someone against whom, agencies were dispatched. But Ghanshyam Tiwari, RPN Singh from Padrona, could well be a setback for Swami Prasad Maurya's best-laid plans?
Well, Gaurav, let me be very clear on this, that the agenda of this election is not being set by what can be exciting debate topics, but it is set by the fact that every day, like today in Prayagraj, students are being lathi charged. If you just Google the word lathi charge, every month you will see that how UP police have lathi charged students who are asking for jobs. They're not asking for a ministership under Adityanath. They're asking for jobs. They lathi charge these students. The fact that price rise has affected the poor, 1,000 rupees cylinder. People are worried if these people are voted to power, the same cylinder will be 2,000 rupees, or the same petrol or diesel will be 200 rupees. And the stray cattle that has destroyed the farms. So BJP.
So, and in all of that, in Adil Chaudhry being given a Samajwadi Party ticket, and his so-called statement against Hindus, of course, under investigation, that is the best way to address the issues that you are raising on a television debate, where my specific question to you was about RPN Singh from Padrona, whether that's a setback for Swami Prasad Maurya. Of course, I'm running out of time on this part of the show, but let me quickly take one more word from Rahul Srivastav. Rahul Srivastav, BJP was, it was a setback when three, leaders left the BJP one after the other. But the fact that RPN Singh has joined, the fact that he may be the candidate from Padrona, is that more optics, as some argue, or is there more substance to it?
Gaurav, this election is going to be dictated more by the Mandal theme than the Kamandal theme. And in that, what you see is that each caste, community, subgroup is becoming more and more important as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned. The BJP did very well in the last 3 elections because of getting a lot of MBC, non-Jatav and non-Yadav votes in Uttar Pradesh. It lost certain leaders like Swami Prasad Maurya and others who had come in with great amount of fanfare. Now the BJP needs to correct the picture. Picture that the perception that it is still the favorite of the OBCs, the NBCs and the others.
Okay.
RPN Singh has a problem. Why did he leave the Congress? Remember that for the last 3 elections, his community, the Kurmis, have already been voting for the BJP. In that scenario, it was the leader who was left out. The votes were already with the BJP. So he had compulsions. So now bringing in RPN Singh gives that sense of perception building in which BJP can say that, see, other leaders are still joining us. And also importantly, Gaurav, it also puts the focus on the Congress and takes the focus away from the Samajwadi Party. That's also a political ploy.
We will, of course, continue to track this story and these stories in the days ahead. But before I go...